Alrighty, this is so much better than I originally had the camera going. Hello everyone, Jana here. Welcome back to my channel. It is Thursday and it took a little late in the afternoon as it took me basically all day to decide what kind of video I was going to do for this week's video. And even though we are more than halfway through the year, I thought I would share with you the top 5 books that I have read this year that I highly recommend. They are all sitting off to my side here, all in order. I am going to be listing them in order of my favorites of these books. Alrighty, let's get going. So for the most part, you've all heard me talk about this one. The number 5 book on my list is Written in Stars by Aisha Saeed. Keep thinking I say this wrong. I've talked about this book several times on this channel. And just to give you a brief overview, if you don't know what it's about a contemporary real-world arranged marriage. Very heartbreaking, very sad, very encouraging as you read it. Highly recommend that book. We're going quickly through this list because, like, you've heard of probably, like, 4 of 5 of these books. I guarantee it. Alright, so the next book is Eliza and Her Monsters by Francesca Zappia. It's well talked about here on BookTube. It's about a teenage girl who has a webcomic series going on, and that's what she dedicates her whole life to. It's a very good book. I highly enjoy this book about how it represents fandom culture, of people who express themselves creatively online and only use that as their only outlet. I thought it was accurately portrayed. I identified with the main character a lot, as that's something I connected to in my teenage years, not so much as creating something, but as a fan of something. I would often write fan fiction for my favorite things, but let's just say I highly identified with the main character. And it's a good book. 5 out of 5. Most of these are 5 out of 5 reads, except for the last one, which was 4 out of 5, but it's still a favorite book of mine. There's other books that are rated higher than it, but, like, that's why it's lower on the list. Yeah, whatever. Alright, so the next one I read, like, originally at the beginning of the year in February. Or March, February, whatever it came out. But it was, like, in the first half of the year. And that is The Hate U Give by Angie Thomas. This is number 3 on my list, which I know is going to be like, why is it number 1? I will explain that, because first of all, there's a book that I read that's better than The Hate U Give. But The Hate U Give is a very, very powerful book. It's even being turned into a movie. Even before it was released as a book, there was talks about it being turned into a movie, and it's a very powerful book. I recommend everyone to read it if you have not already. It's probably going to be one that is taught in schools from years from now. Oh, dust jacket's bent. Oh well. All in all, it's a very good and insightful read. And it's not high. Well, it's number 3, so it's like in the middle of my list, because the next book is a way better, like, I hate saying that, it's like way better than that, like, no, I mean, they're all on the same level. This is just like an order of preference to reading it. As you can tell, like, my contemporary books are, like, I don't read contemporary, I mean, I read contemporary when I want something light and easy breezy. Not saying those are light and easy breezy, but let's move on to the next book, which is Copper Sun by Sharon M. Draper. This book is a historical fiction book based on, set around the time that America was just being founded and slavery was, and slavery was the mainstay as being a form of servitude. And this book was great. It's about a 15-year-old girl named Amari who is kidnapped from her she has good life going for her and her tribe. There's someone who she's interested in and that they are planning to get married. She just turned 15. She is at that right age in her culture. And then the white people come and destroy her village, kidnap her, where she then is sold, taken on a ship where some things happen that are not as pleasant. Yeah. some things happen, and then she is sold into her, to whatever, I'm forgetting his name because I don't know why I'm forgetting his name. But the thing that I love about this book, because I don't think I actually talked about this book that much because I just read it in July. The thing I love about this book is that it shows different forms of servitude and how different people can feel trapped. There is the slaves, who are obviously trapped by by the people who will hunt them down if they dare to run. There is an indentured servant named, what is her name, Polly? I think her name's Polly, yes. I was thinking Polly, no, that can't be right. But yes, there's an indentured servant named Polly, and then there is this man's wife who is just 18 and is also feeling trapped, but she's also very good to the slaves, where she's like, oh, she's just very good and well-meaning and taking care of them, when, especially Amari, when she gets badly beaten by her husband. She goes and visits her every day, bringing her tea, like saying, oh, I'm so sorry this happened to you. It's a very good read, and it shows like how different people, like the slaves are like, well, why does this white girl care about what happens to you? But it just shows like different forms of different relationships, of how, even though they're like all at different stations, about how they can all feel trapped in this situation. And I don't know, like, I felt it was and like different ways of how you can come out of this situation, or how you can, or not even come out, just how you remain by not doing anything, being proactive, but your actions all have consequences. It's just a very good read all around, and I enjoyed that book highly. And then finally the fifth book, which should come no surprise to anyone, is The Gentleman's Guide to Vice and Virtue by Mackenzie Lee. This is like my favorite book of the year so far. You can't tell, like, my top two are like historical fiction, which gives you, like, yeah, I enjoy historical fiction a lot. Like, I'm already planning to reread this, like, in December or January or something. Like, oh, it's that good. Like, I'm like, oh, I want to reread it already, but like, no, I just finished reading it. And I don't reread books that often. I think, like, the only set of books that I've actually reread are the Harry Potter books. So that speaks something, like, if I want to reread it. Like, maybe I'll skim through it, like, looking for something, but I don't actively reread books unless, like, I really enjoy the story and I can immerse myself over and over again. And I feel like this is something where I can immerse myself over and over again, especially since I know that there's a second book coming out with it. Alright, though. That has been my top 5 favorite books of the year so far. And I'll do another one in December or January. So, when all those books come out. But until then, I'll see you guys next time. Bye.